An instructional video by Jace Consulting Group. All right, in this session, we're going to talk about your general health checks. In this case, this health check is for an AT&T site, and the health check comes to us from QuadGen. You can see QIC right here. That stands for QuadGen. And they're going to send you the health check in an email. It's going to look something like this. There are other facilitators of our health checks for different sites, especially if we're doing sites for T-Mobile or Verizon and so on. But the general idea is the same. But for now, we're going to look at this QuadGen health check that comes off from an AT&T site. We can see that QuadGen has sent us in the body of the email some information about the site here and a little bit about what's going on the site that needs to be addressed. The first couple of things we want to look at is our eNode ID, or what they might call a site ID right here, site ID. See, when we look at this site ID, it's MSL01178, right? But if you look up here in these two attachments here, these are your OSS reports. If you look, there's actually two eNodes. These are eNodes, right, on the site. There's actually two separate ones. And in some cases, you might have 3, 4, or even 5, depending on how many radios are on your site, how many different technologies, and how the site is organized will determine how many eNodes. You might have 2 or 3 more eNodes, and all of 700, 1900, and 2300 WLL might be on one eNode, right? And then 2100, 700 Echo band, and FirstNet might be on another eNode, and then UMTS would be on another eNode. And the eNode identifier is this number that you see right here, MSL01178. and MSJKU1178. This is UMTS here, and this is your LTE. Most often, UMTS and LTE are definitely going to be two separate nodes, but you might also have additional LTE nodes here, and you should see those PDF files listed. So when you're looking at the email that they sent you, make sure you look and see, okay, what site ID am I looking at here? And in this case, it's this one, 1178, right? And then as you scroll down, all this information applies to that eNode. And you may see a different site ID. For instance, right here, we have this MSJKU1178, which is the UMTS node ID for this site, right? If there were more LTE nodes, we would see them listed. After this, it would have the next node ID and then some more information about it and so on, okay? So when we look at our health check, this is going to be a snapshot of what's in these actual PDF forms. I do not recommend that you troubleshoot off of this, right? This information could be faulty. It could be, it could have some errors in it, but the information they send you in these OSS reports, you can rely on that to be accurate. And we're going to look into those in the next video instruction on health checks. So. But we can look and see what we have just as a snapshot. Say you're pulling this up on your phone, you're at the top of the tower, and you want to see, okay, what do I have? We can look in here and see, okay, we have a red alarm. We can scroll over and see what technology it's on and what sector. It's on 2100 beta. We have a couple RSSIs on 700 alpha and beta and a VISWAR on 2100 alpha, right? So we have some things to address. And then sometimes, but not always, they will list more information about that in your health check. It's a bit compressed in this configuration and much easier to read if you open up your PDF file, and there are some tricks you can do to search for things in there. But we can see that the operational state of this antenna number 7 is disabled, so we need to look into that and so on and so forth. It's connected through RRU number 8, and we can go into our OSS report and find that RRU. And as we scroll down, we can see much more information about the site itself. They will even give us the RSSI readings and the VISWAR readings that they said were bad. So here we can see a quick snapshot of our 700 alpha and beta RSSI issues on branch A and branch B. We can see exactly what those readings are and then begin to troubleshoot off of there. But as I said, the PDF file is a better way to do that. It's just much easier to read, and that's in part 2 of this discussion here. But keynotes for this is really just make sure you know exactly which node you're working on. and make sure that that corresponds to the stuff you're working on the site, right? You may have two different nodes, both with 700 on them, or you may have two separate RAD centers, and at one RAD center is this eNode ID, and then at the other RAD center is another eNode ID with two separate 701C technologies on both of those nodes. You could have sites like that. So it's really important that you pay attention to what node you're working on. And then just a quick note, these notes right here, I would not trust these notes all the time. QuadGen and anybody, these are humans that do this. They can make mistakes and put errors in here. It's best if you check through the PDF file that you're going to get from the market. And we're going to walk through the PDF here in part 2 of this video. But for now, that's a health check email. It's fairly simple and straightforward. It'll give you some basic information about the issues you're dealing with and a list of alarms. So for instance, if we scroll up, we can see that the alarm status is not okay, which means we have some kind of alarm that we need to deal with, right? And then if you look here, you can see that we have power disturbance, right? And it'll tell us in here, it says insufficient power. See additional notes for affected units, right? Unit 1, RU32B2, and there's the serial number for it. So in order to find that, we're going to go and we're going to look inside our PDF file to find which RU32 exactly is having the power disturbance problem. We know it's a 1900 technology because the 32B2 controls 1900. So we have to look into that. And then we can see a no connection alarm on antenna group 2 near unit antenna 7, which we saw. That's right here. That's this RET problem right here. That's causing this no connection alarm, right? And then we can see exactly when that alarm came in on 5/5 at 2021, which is 8:21 in the evening. That's when the alarm came in. So things we can do here, we can ask for an alarm history report and see if this no connection or the power disturbance alarm has existed in prior to us coming to the site. If it has, then we can possibly work with the customer and say, hey, this was a pre-existing issue. We're not going to address it right now. Or would you like us to address it, troubleshoot it, and fix it? They can give us the yes or no kind of answers that we're looking for. But this is the basic health check and the email that comes with it. And the next installment is going to talk about the actual PDF files that we receive.